Hi there, I'm Julia Lee Harder, and I'm proud to be disabled. When I was in the second grade, I became a published author. I came home from school one day, took out my crayons, and wrote and illustrated my own story. The next day I came to school, and I hid my book in the shelves when I thought the teachers weren't looking, hidden in between copies of Juna B. Jones and A Very Hungry Caterpillar. In my 8-year-old mind, that's what I thought it meant to be an author. And I wanted to keep doing it forever. I loved the way that when I read, I could be anyone and do anything. By the time I got to high school, I was well on my way to becoming who I wanted to be. I knew exactly who I was. Until I didn't. My senior year of high school, I had my first seizure as a result of a functional neurological disorder. Functional neurological disorder, or FND, is a disability caused by a disruption in the way the brain sends and receives signals. Symptoms can present themselves in many ways, but for me, it showed up with inexplicable seizures, tics, dizziness, and muscle weakness. I started college at the University of Texas at Austin. I wasn't just moving into a new environment. I was managing a disability in a body that I no longer understood. Things that used to be easy for me suddenly were extremely difficult. I struggled to get out of bed in the morning to make it to classes. I had to miss out on opportunities because of hospital visits and doctor's visits. I couldn't walk without a cane anymore. Then I discovered Lyme Connect, and I found that I wasn't a failure. I was just disabled, and I could still achieve my dreams if I kept working towards it. I learned to ask for help when I needed it, and I began using a lap desk to write when I was bedbound. I wrote my own book discussing mental health and disability. I'm graduating college in just 2.5 years. And I'm even able to elevate the voices of other disabled leaders. After meeting at a Lyme Connect reception, I had the opportunity to intern as a journalist for Google, sharing my disability inclusion stories with hundreds of thousands of readers. I had the opportunity to interview a Paralympian, highlight accessibility features, and talk about the future of work. I even had the opportunity to share my own story in what became the most opened internal newsletter at Google of all time. Sometimes I still find myself sitting at my lap desk, asking the same old question. Who am I? I'm the little girl who wrote her own story using only crayons and a dream. I'm the student who has managed to teach herself to walk again, overcoming adversity. I'm the young woman who's rebranding disability through achievement.